thrilled to be in Screamfest. It's very exciting and it's a fun movie, so I'm very glad to be here. Oh, I think horror and thriller are just so exciting, and there's always such a big adrenaline rush when you're doing these movies. I mean, the scenes they're very difficult and challenging to shoot, but also a lot of fun. And absolutely, I've done several films, and now I'm working on an hour-long comedy about college in the 80s for TBS, so Glory Days. So that's very different. I like to do a lot of different things, but I absolutely love horror. It's very fun. Mel is a very artsy girl. She wants to go to film school and is making in the film a documentary with her friends. And has a camcorder with her. So when everything starts to go wrong, she keeps this camcorder with her, kind of like a security blanket through this experience, and hides behind, deals with her fear by just kind of focusing on what she's filming instead of dealing with what's actually going on. So she's an individual. It was a fun character to do. I am not a great flyer. I mean, I definitely get nervous. So this film for me was addressing that fear, absolutely. And it's a small plane. It's not a commercial airliner, so it's a different experience. It's almost scarier to be on these little planes. I'm not really into it. Luckily, we didn't actually have to go up in the air. It was green screen, but it was a tiny plane, and there were 5 of us in there, and we couldn't stand up. So it was an interesting experience and a tough 21 days to be in that plane, but with such a great group of people and such a wonderful director, Kaare. It was a really good time.
Well, when I was a kid, there wasn't any difference between comics and movies. It was all kind of the same thing, like comics, toys, movies, animation. And then as you get a little older, people try to tell you can only choose one, and so I chose comics first. But that whole time, I was making shorts and animating, little robots and stuff as a kid, and it's just you get to a point when you're like, why can't I do more than just the one? So you start making short films and music videos and working towards this, my first feature, and I've been trying to get a feature made for a long time. Altitude is my 6th feature. When you start chasing down features, you get offered a feature, or you put it together yourself and it falls apart. And then you get offered a feature and it falls apart. You put together a feature, it falls apart. So when you got the money to make Altitude, I was kind of shocked. I was like, I had been through the fall apart process so often that it was like a little, caught me off guard a little bit. But this project, it kind of came to me,
we wanted the suspenseful.
The script was already written, and I just kind of jumped in to the ship that had already had some motion, so it was a kind of an interesting ride. But it's fun to put that notch in your bedpost of your first film, Well, I love Twilight Zone, and I love Outer Limits, and I love comic books, and this script kind of had all those things in it, and it was just kind of a fun movie. And originally, we were going to do the movie for much less money, for like $100,000. We were just going to put it together ourselves, and I love the idea of a small plane, in a black warehouse with smoke machines, trying to create that feel. At the end of the day, we got a lot more than that, but we still have to put storms behind every window, which is in every shot. And once you cross the budget level where black and smoke machines is no longer acceptable, it becomes much more expensive. So at the end, we have 600 visual effects shots, which is crazy for a small movie like us. Every time you see someone's head, there's a visual effects shot of a storm behind them or something. It's pretty crazy.
I play this young girl who has just gotten her pilot's license, and she's taking her friends to this out-of-town concert. And then there's a technical malfunction, and they are then faced with this supernatural force out in the sky, kind of like a Twilight Zone-esque sort of feel, and it's great. And the director, Kaare Andrews, was so much fun to work with. He's originally, and still is, a comic book artist and writer for Marvel, so just his vision and his artistry was just so great. And I think the whole video, the whole movie, it definitely shows his vision. It's just shot really, really beautiful. I love the challenge, and I love how I can read a script and be absolutely terrified by it. Like this script, I play a young pilot, and when I read it, I had no idea how I was going to pull that off. And then I ended up taking flight lessons at the Santa Monica airport, and because I always take it very seriously, and I want it to look believable, and I never want to make a mockery of it. And I think that's the coolest thing about it, because it's definitely really intense situations that these people are in, and crying and emotions running high, and then at the end of the day, it's not so scary because you finish it and you're like, wow, that was really intense while we filmed it, but I'm really proud of it.